What is the difference between Eminem and Miley Cyrus? Well, so many, but one key one is that Eminem has balls and Miley Cyrus does not, right? Now, why am I telling you this? Because of this. The balls, also known as the testes in science, the testes, is a place where we form sperm, where sperm is made, and sperm is the topic of today's video. Now, the process of making sperm is called spermatogenesis. Spermatogenesis. Now, this is a massive word, and don't worry, this process of spermatogenesis I will cover in its own separate video. All we're going to talk today about in detail is the structure of sperm, not how it's made. But just know, I have a video on this, which I'll make soon. Now, that's what Eminem can do because he has balls, or testes. Now, what can Miley Cyrus do because she has no balls, but she rather has ovaries? Now, she can do another process. What do you think it is? It's called oogenesis. So, oogenesis is a process that makes the egg. And no, not this kind of egg, right? It's a cell called an egg. And both of these are so different, right? This is the one males make and this is the one females make. But they are both sex cells. And we'll get to what that means just now. Now, one key thing I want to show you is the difference in size. In reality, a sperm is way smaller than an egg. It would probably look more like this, okay? Or even smaller. There are massive size difference between an egg and a sperm. A sperm is the smallest cell that a human can have, and an egg is the biggest possible cell that a human can have, okay? So that's one key thing you need to know. They're massive difference in size. Now, what is special about sex cells? Because both of these are sex cells. Sex cells are special because they have half the amount of DNA than normal cells. And why is this important? Because when these two cells meet, so when the sperm meets the egg, we know it's going to donate its DNA in a process called what? A process called fertilization, right? It's going to go there and donate its DNA. It's going to donate Eminem's DNA to Miley Cyrus's DNA. And this is important because when these two DNAs mix, they will double, right? Because when this one mixes with that one, we add them together. So if they are both half the amount of DNA, when they combine together, they form the normal number of DNA. So that this can become a normal human being, right? So that's why sex cells are special. They have half the amount of DNA. So this sperm will have half of Eminem's total DNA, and this egg cell will have half of Miley Cyrus's DNA. When they combine, we'll have a mix of Eminem's DNA and Miley Cyrus's DNA to form a normal amount of DNA. Now this cell here that has both the sperm and the egg's DNA, or the mother and the father's DNA, will now basically be called the phase of pregnancy. It will develop inside Miley Cyrus's womb, and mitosis, so cell division will happen over and over again until we have so many cells that we can call it a baby, basically, right? That's pretty much what's going to happen. And this baby is going to have qualities of both Eminem and Miley Cyrus because it's made up of both DNA, right? Now, just like spermatogenesis, I was going to make its own video. I'm going to make a video on each of these by themselves as well. So I'm going to make a video on fertilization. I will make a video on oogenesis. And I'll make a video on pregnancy. So don't worry if you don't get these processes. These are very key words that I put here just so you understand why we care about sperm. We care about sperm because it is involved in sexual reproduction. So now that we have that out of the way, let's go take a look at what you need to know about sperm, because that's really the ultimate aim of this video, to know what structures of this sperm we need to know. So here we have a more realistic structure. So this is the one we looked at before, but we know that's just not right. That's just not real. Now, what's interesting about a sperm cell? A sperm cell looks so much different from any other cell we know, right? Normally, when you think of a cell, you think of this round, a round kind of cell that has a nucleus, some organelles and all that. But look at the sperm. So much different. It's so unique, right? So that just shows you that cells can vary so much in their size. Now, pretty much, we can divide a sperm into 3 segments. Some books may say 4 segments, so it just depends on what your teacher wants you to know. In this case, we're focusing on IB, so we're going to focus on this classification. We've got a head, we've got a middle piece, and we've got a tail, okay? And in the head, there's some structure. So let's look at them. First of all, the most easy one, the nucleus. The nucleus. The nucleus has the DNA, right? And we said it has half the amount of DNA than a normal cell, right? So that's the nucleus. It just stores the DNA. What's this thing here? This pink thing, or this pink thing here? We call this an acrosome. An acrosome is basically like a sac, like a weird sac-like structure. Inside this sac, or vacuole, inside this vacuole, there's a lot of enzymes, okay? Enzymes, we know, make reactions happen. They can break things down, they can build things, whatever. In this case, we have enzymes that break things down. What's the purpose of this? Let me show you. So when the sperm meets the egg, right? In the acrosome, there's going to be these enzymes. So in order for the sperm to penetrate the egg, to be able to get inside the egg, because we know the only way the sperm can pass on the DNA, right, the DNA to the egg, is if it can penetrate the egg. So in order to penetrate the egg, it needs to release these enzymes from the acrosome that can break down the wall of the cell so that the sperm can get inside. So it's pretty much just little molecules that's going to break down this wall of the egg so that the sperm can release its DNA into the egg, right, in the process of fertilization. So that's all that the acrosome is about. So now we have this middle piece. So probably the one you're going to like the least is the centriole, because it's got many functions, but you don't actually need to know them, right? You just need to know basically what it is. Now the centriole, don't worry, like all these words I'm explaining, I have a table right here which you can go check out to be clear on it. But basically, the centriole is involved in mitosis. So it is going to be passed on to the egg, and that's going to help the egg in the future do mitosis and split and all this kind of thing. You would know about what a centriole is if you've learned about mitosis and meiosis, because centrioles are involved in that. Now, not only that, but they also link the head and the tail, as you can see here. They link the head and the tail. They're kind of involved, and here's the tail starts here. But so it's going to link these two. And then lastly, when the egg and the sperm meet, right, they form this cell that we can actually call the zygote, and it will duplicate and duplicate. Now, the centriole is also going to be involved in helping form that cell, helping keep that cell stable. So like I said, there's so many functions. Don't worry too much about it. You're not going to be really tested on this, so don't worry about this one too much. Now, what's next? Mitochondria. Notice all of these tiny mitochondria, right? These are also in other normal cells. And what is the main function of mitochondria? It makes ATP. What is ATP for? To make things happen. It's like money or energy in a cell. Now, why do we need so much energy? Why do we need so many mitochondria for a sperm cell? Because a sperm cell needs to swim, it needs to move. So where's it going to get the energy from? These mitochondria. These mitochondria make sure that this tail can move as fast as it wants, okay? So what do we call this thing, this tail? We call it the filament or a flagella. Either way, you probably have seen both. So that's all for the sperm structure. Really, I put all the words here, again, all the key structures you need to know. You can read over these to double check that you know what you're doing, but that's really it. Make sure to check out these videos on spermatogenesis and all this stuff that I'll make so that you understand the process of sexual reproduction as well as possible.